Welcome to Crimes Beyond Borders, where we'll bring you the most thrilling true crime stories every single day. If you're fascinated by mystery, intrigue, and the darker side of human nature, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and join us as we unravel the most shocking and perplexing criminal cases from around the world. The story is about to begin after this intro.
From city streets to far-off lands, mystery slipping through our hands. Crimes beyond borders they speak, voices strong but words are meek. Every story leaves a mark, whispers softly in the dark.
Our stories at first are made for ourselves, to comfort us, to help us sleep, and to learn. Along the way, they become a part of our journey, teaching us English and fueling our passion for true crime. So, listen carefully, and if you're about to sleep, close your eyes. Let's begin.
The Laci Peterson case. Laci Denise Peterson was a vibrant, 27-year-old substitute teacher living in Modesto, California, with her husband, Scott Peterson. Laci was 8 months pregnant with their first child, a boy they planned to name Connor. By all appearances, the couple was happily married, eagerly awaiting the arrival of their son. However, what seemed like a perfect life would unravel into a chilling tale of betrayal and murder. The disappearance. On Christmas Eve, December 24, 2002, Laci Peterson was reported missing by her husband, Scott. Scott claimed that he last saw Laci that morning around 9:30 a.m. She had planned to walk their dog, Mackenzie, in the neighborhood while Scott went fishing at Barkley Marina, about 90 miles away. Scott said he returned home that afternoon to find Mackenzie wandering the neighborhood with her leash attached, but Laci was nowhere to be found. Alarmed, Scott called Laci's mother, Sharon Rocha, and then the police. As Christmas Eve turned to Christmas Day, the community rallied around the Peterson family. Friends, neighbors, and volunteers scoured the area, distributing flyers and organizing search parties. Laci's disappearance became a high-profile case almost immediately. The investigation begins. Police began their investigation with a focus on Scott, as statistically, spouses are often involved in such cases. From the start, Scott's behavior struck investigators as odd. He appeared unemotional and detached, even as the search for Laci intensified. During a vigil for Laci, Scott infamously smiled and laughed with family members, leading to public suspicion. While Scott maintained that he had no involvement in Laci's disappearance, inconsistencies in his story began to emerge. Investigators also found it unusual that Scott chose to go fishing alone on Christmas Eve, especially since he had never mentioned this plan to anyone, including Laci. The Amber Frey revelation. A turning point in the case came on January 24, 2003, when a woman named Amber Frey came forward. Amber revealed that she had been in a romantic relationship with Scott, whom she had met in November 2002. Scott had told Amber he was single and had never mentioned his pregnant wife. Amber agreed to cooperate with investigators, recording phone conversations with Scott. In these recordings, Scott continued to lie, even claiming he was in Paris on New Year's Eve, mourning the loss of his wife. These lies painted a damning picture of a man who was more concerned with maintaining his double life than finding his missing wife. The media frenzy. As the investigation unfolded, the case captivated the nation. The media swarmed Modesto, with reporters covering every development. Laci's disappearance became the subject of nightly news broadcasts, talk shows, and true crime specials. Scott's extramarital affair with Amber Frey only added fuel to the fire, casting him as a villain in the court of public opinion. Photos of Scott and Amber together surfaced, alongside revelations about his lies and deceit. Public outrage grew, with many convinced of Scott's guilt even before an arrest was made. The discovery of the bodies. On April 13, 2003, a couple walking their dog along San Francisco Bay discovered a decomposed body on the shore. The following day, the remains of a fetus were found nearby. DNA testing confirmed that the bodies were those of Laci Peterson and her unborn son, Connor. The discovery was devastating but also pivotal. The condition of the bodies indicated that Laci had been killed and dumped into the bay, aligning with Scott's fishing trip on the day of her disappearance. This led investigators to officially charge Scott Peterson with 2 counts of murder. The trial. Scott Peterson's trial began in June 2004 and lasted 5 months. Prosecutors presented a compelling case, arguing that Scott killed Laci to escape the responsibilities of fatherhood and marriage, freeing himself to pursue a life with Amber Frey. Key pieces of evidence included Scott's lies, his dishonesty about the affair, his whereabouts, and his behavior during Laci's disappearance painted a picture of guilt. Forensic evidence. Although no direct physical evidence linked Scott to the crime, his fishing trip at Barkley Marina placed him near where Laci's body was later found. The affair. Amber Frey's testimony revealed Scott's motive and his calculated deceit. The defense argued that the case against Scott was circumstantial and suggested the possibility that someone else abducted and killed Laci. However, this theory lacked credibility, and the jury was unconvinced. The verdict and sentencing. On November 12, 2004, Scott Peterson was convicted of first-degree murder for Laci's death and second-degree murder for Connor's death. The following month, he was sentenced to death and sent to San Quentin State Prison. The verdict was met with widespread approval, with many feeling justice had been served. However, the case did not end there. Appeals and controversies. Scott Peterson has continued to maintain his innocence, filing multiple appeals over the years. In 2020, the California Supreme Court overturned his death sentence, citing potential juror misconduct during sentencing. However, his conviction for murder remains intact, and he is serving a life sentence without parole. This development reignited public debate, with some questioning the fairness of his trial and others reaffirming their belief in his guilt. The legacy of Laci Peterson. Laci's murder had a profound impact on her family, the Modesto community, and the broader conversation about domestic violence and intimate partner homicides. Her family has worked tirelessly to keep her memory alive, advocating for victims' rights and supporting legislation aimed at protecting pregnant women. The case also influenced popular culture, inspiring books, documentaries, and TV specials that dissect the tragedy and the public fascination with it. A chilling reminder. The Laci Peterson case remains a haunting example of betrayal and violence within a seemingly perfect relationship. It highlights the dangers of unchecked narcissism, the importance of vigilance in abusive relationships, and the devastating consequences of domestic violence. Laci and Connor are remembered as symbols of hope and love, their lives tragically cut short by an act of unimaginable betrayal.
The story has come to an end, but stay relaxed. If you feel yourself drifting off to sleep, just let the video play and enjoy the soothing music in the background. Let it guide you gently into rest. We'll be here, bringing you more stories every night. Sleep well, and see you tomorrow at 8 p.m.
Whispers, cities asleep, mystery in the air, it seeps. Flickering lamps dimly glow, secrets hidden where few will go. In the half-light, truth begins to show. Unseen forces pull and tow. Windows shut, curtains drawn tight, lonely figures melt in the night. Echoes fade out of sight, moonlight bathes falls.